Okay, so the next question we have is, I told my boss I'd like to start a side hustle to make extra money, and it didn't go well. What should I do? I feel the need to vent and receive advice here because I am too embarrassed and confused to discuss it with anyone in real life. To start, I'm an experienced engineer with 3 to 5 years of experience in various engineer roles in tech. A few weeks ago, I realized I can make extra money by starting a business that does various technology-related work for commercial and residential. Like most companies, you must disclose your side hustle to ensure no conflicts of interest are present to prevent breach of contractual agreements. Basically, I went above my direct boss's head to disclose the information to my department president, as I thought this was the person to go to. My president told me that another department actually really needs someone like me and encouraged me to meet with my CTO to discuss the opportunity. I met with my CTO the next day and he was excited for me to be pursuing this role, but also said I should think if I truly want to start my own side business or not, because he would not want to discourage me from pursuing an entrepreneurial endeavor. Basically, he told me he'd get me in the position if I passed an exam, which I had no problem doing. The next day comes, and my boss comes back from vacation, and I thought it was courteous to disclose to him what I had discussed with our president and CTO. He completely went off the rails and basically attacked me for going above his head and didn't understand why I would even do such a thing. I told him I want to start a side business for more money, and I thought I was supposed to go to the president to sign off on it. He said it seems like I was trying to go penny pinching. He then proceeded to say, why wouldn't I just think about working at X company for extra money instead of starting a side business, even though I work 50 to 55 hours a week as it is. He then questioned the CTO opening a door for me to pursue a new career that pays a lot more money. I was in complete shock, and he sort of backtracked in the end. He lastly said, well, whatever you need to do for yourself, I'll help you get whatever you need for your exam. I said, okay, thanks, and that was about the end of it. I've been so absorbed mentally in that conversation that I can't even think about starting the exam for some reason. I just need some advice on what to do in this current situation. There doesn't even seem to be any bad blood between us, but my blood boils every time I think about this conversation. It makes me not even want to work at this company anymore, even though everyone else was supportive. So the too long don't read on this is I told my boss our CTO offered me a new opportunity for more money if I passed an exam instead of starting a side business for extra cash. The direct boss basically disrespected him and made him feel worthless because I went over his head and didn't choose to, apply at a different company, to work 2 jobs instead of 1 just to make some extra money. And he said, yes, the company does have an open door policy.
So I'm confused about whether or not he has to choose between either working at the company or doing the side hustle.
Yeah, why can't he do both?
Like, is the company now trying to get him to do the side hustle the company?
Yeah, it sounds like the company needs like a new wing in the company, like a new division.
Yeah.
And this guy's going to kind of like open that up for them. So it sounds like a good situation to be in.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand why the direct boss would be a little peeved coming back from vacation.
Right.
Knowing that the employee, I don't want to say went above his head, but it definitely would feel like that.
But it's not something that's clear, like, hey, if you're going to start a side hustle, like, come to me first. Like, that's not something you typically, like, explain to all your employees. Yeah. So I definitely get, like, the gray area on that.
Yeah.
Right?
I do, too. I think that the boss seemed to come around, though, to it and understand, like, why he was confused, but his initial reaction was obvious.
And he realized he was wrong.
And he realized he was wrong. Yeah, he was obviously, like, hurt by it, because he's like, well, I like having you on my team. He obviously thinks that you're a great employee and he doesn't want to lose you. So
and he had more of like an emotional reaction, right?
Yeah.
Really, like, get to think about it.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
Bosses are just people, so he's just a person who had a response to what you told him. So was it the most professional? Absolutely not. But it's what you're gonna get. I mean, we're not robots either. So
yeah, right. Like you can't take anything too personally. Like it worked out for this person because you're now in with the president and the CTO. Like they seem like they're pretty excited about what you're doing. So like it just kind of stinks to be that boss that, your direct boss at this point. Like he didn't identify this. Like, he kind of looks bad, but like that's kind of on him. This person who's asking the question is, in a really like protected state right now.
Right.
Like they're not like going to lose their job or anything. The person who should be worrying is the direct boss, right?
Yeah.
Like that lower level manager.
Yeah.
For sure. That's the person that should be worried.
No, I definitely agree. Especially if they were on vacation, then, I mean, I could see why you would
I think that just makes it worse. They happen to be on vacation. Maybe you could have, like, if they were there, you could have had all three of them together, or the president and your direct boss, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that would have been better.
I don't know. I would try to understand what you want, too. Is this job opportunity... would you rather work for a job where they can inject your idea with some cash pretty immediately and create an environment where, I don't know anything about the history of this company, but I would assume that they would be able to back it. Whereas if you were going off on your own and you're doing things by yourself, you might not be in that kind of a position to be able to financially support it initially. Maybe you are. But I would just think about that first. Like, do you need financial backing? Because if you do, then maybe go with the company.
Right.
If you are passionate about this and are like, this is my dream job is to have this idea and have my own business, well, then I think you should go run your own thing. Because clearly it's worth listening to if the company now also wants it.
Right. And your relationship now with your direct manager is going to be a little different.
Yeah,
and it stinks to be that person who you went over his head because he feels like his bosses just made a decision without even consulting him at all with his employees who they trust him with, right? So it's tricky.
Yeah,
I get it.
It depends on what you want, though. What you're gonna do. I wouldn't consider leaving just because you're mad at your direct boss or don't like how it panned out. I mean, these type of situations happen all of the time, usually a lot worse than this, and he just obviously cares. I mean, I don't know about what your relationship looks like, but he obviously thinks you're a great employee and he's sad to lose you.
Right.
So I wouldn't make a decision based off of now your emotional response from his emotional response. Like, you just need to make the decision based off of what is right for you business and professionally. Like, is it working for this company? Is that going to give you the greatest opportunity? Or is going off on your own going to give you the greatest opportunity? And it sounds like you're going to have to make a choice, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's tough. When you're starting a side hustle that's in the industry that you work in, like, I definitely see where there can be a lot of red flags that come up where, like, if you're working on something and using companies' like proprietary information or using their like systems or something to grow your own thing. Like, I get even just like using a work laptop to work on a personal project. I don't know, that's weird, right? Like, but yeah, I definitely think you did the right thing by actually disclosing that instead of just going and doing it, right? And in this case, it kind of worked out where they were interested in it.
Yeah,
so,
I think so.
I think it kind of worked out in the best way it could, almost.
I think so too. I think it worked out probably better than this person imagined.
Right, because
they're like, "Holy crap! Now I have a job. I could also have this awesome job as well."
Because that direct boss, like I feel like in other situations could have just fired you on the spot, right? You felt like so hurt by that, and just terminated.
Well, I don't think he could fire him because
he was protected.
He was protected because the CTO wants to talk to him. So then the direct boss would look even worse if he fired him.
Yeah.
So I don't think he would fire him. I think he's in a really protected spot.
Yeah.
At that point, it's a great place to be.
Definitely.
You just have to make tough decisions now.
But I think at this point, you really just have to like try to calm down about the whole situation with your direct boss and just focus on doing this exam because obviously that door opened and you have some pretty powerful people backing you.
Yeah.
So I think you just have to kind of grab that opportunity and just put that emotional side behind it, right? And just focus. It's going to work out better for you in the long run.
Yeah, agreed.